Welcome to episode 1000. It's Monday, December 15th, and 3,724 days since I started podcasting. You're listening to The Geek at Geek News Central. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners like you. Pick up a domain name for just $1.49 or get 30% off your next purchase at GoDaddy. All my GoDaddy specials can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Start supporting this show today by becoming a GNC Insider as part of the GNC 1000 Anniversary Show at geeknewscentral.com/insider. More importantly, Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. Hey, folks, we got a great show. We are going to go and cover some territory today. Plus, we're going to talk about tech, of course. It is the start of episode 1000. Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central Podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central Podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There is no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Woohoo! We made it. Show 1000, everyone. Welcome to Geek News Central. Holy smokes. Is that a big number or what? I'm going to tell you, it's kind of surreal. It really is to hit this milestone. It's just an incredible feeling, and we're going to talk about a lot of stuff tonight. Some of the stuff some of you have heard before, but I wanted to be very, these anniversary shows and the even number shows where we hit it like 100, 200, 300, 1,000. They're really important because not only do you listen to the show, but brand new listeners and podcasters, based upon my position in the space, will listen to this show as well. So we're going to tell the story a little bit tonight about the genesis of the show. We're going to talk about you guys as the part of the Ohana. We really got a lot of ground to cover. But in tradition and as part of our normal format here, I want to just, first of all, welcome everyone. Welcome the Ohana and all the longtime listeners and viewers of the show. Thanks for being here. Whether you are subscribed on your iOS device, via an Android, you watch us on the Roku channel, watch us on your Samsung Smart TV, Google TV, wherever you may watch or listen to this show, it really doesn't matter. You're all part of one big family here, part of the Ohana. This show, of course, is produced. I live here in Honolulu, Hawaii, and Ohana is the essence of aloha, because the Ohana, it goes hand in hand, the family. And I really do. Every time I do this show, I feel that it's just you and I are having a little chit-chat about what's going on in the tech space. Obviously, I'm talking a heck of a lot more than you are, but I know you're all talking and agreeing and shaking your head or cussing me out during the show, and that's what this thing is all about. And I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're listening. If you're brand new, it's going to be a piece of cake. What we want you to do is to get subscribed to the podcast. And it's simple. All you got to do is go over to geeknewscentral.com, and really, that's the place to go. And if I can bring up of course, like any other good show, there's always something that happens, and the screen that normally comes up to share the screen did not launch at the beginning of the show. What would a show be without something stupid happening? I swear. There's always something that begins. But go over to geeknewscentral.com, and what you're going to find on the website there is really the place to subscribe to the show. And you're going to find an iTunes link, or you're going to find the location for the RSS feed so you can get subscribed if you're on an Android device. That way you can, basically be subscribed and never miss a single episode. Okay, work the second time. So come over to the website and definitely just get subscribed to the show. And what you're going to find on the subscribe page of the podcast is you're going to find really information on how to subscribe to the audio portion or the video portion of the show. It's very, very clear there. There's some very bright graphics that you can't miss on how to get subscribed to the show. And some Beyond Pod, Podcast Republic for Android, via RSS. There's lots of different ways to really subscribe. And of course, those of you in iTunes, just click on it. You can sample the show while you're there, or there's the RSS feed that's listed right there. You can put in your favorite podcatcher. And more importantly, you can come right on that same subscribe page and sample the show. All the there's last 20 or so episodes of the show that are on that page. So definitely get over to geeknewscentral.com and click on the subscribe button there. More subscription options. That'll get you set up. Sign up for the newsletter while you're over there. That way you'll get the show notes delivered directly to your inbox immediately following the show. That way you'll never miss a single episode of this podcast. And, of course, we want you to reach out. If you've got comments about today's show, you can do so via Twitter @GeekNews, or you can email directly the show here by emailing me directly at geeknews@gmail.com. And, love to hear your comments on today's show. We're going to be giving away a bunch of stuff. So you're going to want to listen throughout the show and have a pen and paper ready. Okay, so don't miss these opportunities to win some prizes here. Okay, I really want you to do that because we're going to give away some cool stuff tonight. Mostly electronics, some cash. So pay attention to that. So again, I've told you about the Twitter, email, follow us on Google Plus, Facebook. Again, you can watch us on your lazy boy and the Roku, on Apple TV, on Google TV. Kick back and just check out the Tech Podcast channel on those devices. Of course, on the Apple TV, just subscribe to the show. I think what I want to do first tonight, here we are. You guys have been with me for years and years and years, and ladies, you guys know that this real relationship that we have is really important to me, and I've been stressing it throughout this year to send me emails and tell me, where you're listening from, and so I want to make sure that's, continues to be embedded in the programming from here on out. Whenever you send an email about the show, definitely, tell me, okay, this is the Tony from Tacoma. This is Julie from Washington, D.C. This is, wherever you may be from. I really want to know where you're tuning in to listen to the show. And one thing I've learned over the years is success of a podcast is not given. It's not something that is automatically going to happen. The success of a podcast is earned through, basically telling the truth, being open with your audience, listening to their feedback, and I think I've done well over the years in listening to your feedback and making changes and adjustments here and there. But really, I want to really come to you guys today in a position of humility that thank you for listening for 1,000 episodes. That's just a really an incredible number. And if I think about, I've been on the podcasting space as a business person saying for years that 50% of shows never make it to episode 7. And, and then you take that the next step further, and about 50% of those remaining shows don't really make it past 23, 24, 25 episodes. This is, I'm not going to say it's easy for me anymore, but it's work. I screw up. Every show I do something stupid. You guys laugh at me. I'm human, and I'm the worst person in the world for destroying the English language. I destroy words left and right, but yet you guys have been here for 1,000 episodes, and I'm very humbled by that. And I, if I was wearing a hat, I'd take my hat off to all of you and say thank you for being here. And some are shows on the network right now. I'm surrounded by people that I like and I'm friends with. You look at Health Tech Weekly, Jamie Davis. Him and I, we go back a long ways. He runs the Pro Med Network. I've had a business relationship with Jamie for a long time, and we're also friends, and we do shows together by going to CES and so forth. and he's part of this network. I'm humbled to be here. Of course, we got Don Bain, the Gadget Professor, a dear friend. And, we talk on a couple times a week usually. And new members to the audience, Todd and his show, The Elder Divide. Going to get to hang out with him in Vegas for CES. It's going to be great. And of course, we've got Langley at Robot Underpants. Langley was coming to some of our very early parties and hanging out. And Langley's, good friends with the rest of my team at Raw Voice. So, we've got this really, and it's all part, again, these are people that are part of my kind of family, and we, they're part of the network here at Geek News Central, and of course the extended group at Tech Podcast and everything else. And I'm humbled to be associated with every one of these individuals. And so I'm just glad that you're all, here and part of the Ahana, part of the family. It's really, again, I appreciate it. Now, I have to stop and just, I don't want to just start like a big ad, but let's be very, very, very honest. Those of you that have been here knew my wife gave me a 2-year deadline. She said, this thing's got to make money in 2 years or you're done. That was the deal. That was the deal. I'd done a couple of things that, ran some credit cards up that I had to pay off and, were more a hobby than business. And, thank God GoDaddy came in and sponsored this show. Chris Redlinger, man, she had the foresight to do this. Without Chris, and Chris runs the IndyCar team, NASCAR part stuff. She's on that marketing side now. I work with a new rep, but Chris and I are following each other on Facebook. And without Chris, and without her having faith in this show and signing a sponsorship deal, there's no way that we would have been able, or and I say we. When I say we, I'm thinking about you and me, okay? So don't get me wrong. It's not that it's an imaginary person here. It's you. We would not have been able to accomplish with this show with what we've been able to do. I owe GoDaddy a lot of thanks and support, and thank you for the ongoing sponsorship of the show. You have no idea how important it's been. Literally, I've told you guys this nearly 1,000 times. GoDaddy is responsible for keeping the lights on, keeping my family fed. And that's the truth. That's the truth. And I'll talk about some of those stats on how many of you have engaged with GoDaddy a little bit later. But GoDaddy's here. They've got some great offers for you this month as part of the 1000th episode. I hope you'll go out and buy a domain, go out and buy a hosting account, go out and hook up your kids with something cool that they can start and generate some income. And I'm, for the first time ever, with really some trepidation, I am going to share with you guys a little about what is possible in doing a podcast. And this is the first time ever I've ever talked about the type of money that this show has made. And I'm only going to cover it briefly because that's not the focus tonight. But there's going to be a lot of podcasters listening, and I want to give them hope that there is potential to do some extraordinary things by having a show like this. And that's not only just the relationships you and I have, it's being able to build businesses and change lives. And we'll get to that in a minute. But our December GoDaddy deals are incredible. $1 a month to manage WordPress hosting with a free domain. You can use promo code PRESS4. You can get a .com for $1.49 using the promo code GEEK149. The savings at GoDaddy continue with $1 economy hosting with a free domain by using the promo code GEEKS12. 30% off on all new orders by using the promo code GNC30. We've got a deal here for everyone looking to save money on new customer orders. Come over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. All those codes are there. Share them with your friends, family members, people that you know. And we want you to save money. And in doing so, you're going to be starting hopefully a blog or a podcast, and I'll talk about some of the trepidations of maybe that too tonight. Don't worry, we are going to get to the tech. This thing is going to go long, so make some time for this first part of the show. Don't skip ahead. The tech will come later, but GoDaddy is to be commended in sponsoring mine and many other shows across the space, allowing us to do what we do and be able to build businesses and change lives. And you too can do the same thing by picking up a hosting account and getting started, sharing your vision, sharing your passion, and that's what it's all about, changing things. And it all starts with a domain name and a hosting account. What is possible on the web today is absolutely incredible. And if you're currently a GoDaddy customer and you've been one of the many thousands that have used my codes over the years, I definitely thank you for doing so and hope that you'll continue to do so that GoDaddy sees it in their heart to continue to sponsor this show for many years to come. I don't think there's any show in podcasting. I don't think there's any show that has had a sponsor for 9.5 years. Same sponsor. Think about that. That's got to tell you something, right? Okay, so anyway, Citrix was here for many years too. They've changed their direction, and believe me, that was a big hit money-wise. But that's the way things happen sometimes, right? Like GoDaddy's been here through and through. So again, thanks to GoDaddy for being a sponsor of this show, really for 900 plus episodes, and that's got to be a record in itself. So what I want to do, start right off here, is let's get me back on the main screen. I do want to thank Sam for the GNC 1000 album art that's up on if you're watching, and also of course I want to thank Sam for again doing the 10. Sam has been a diehard fan here and doing little things here and there. And we're going to recognize Sam tonight for some of that stuff. And some of you, there's another listener that I think is on the chat room tonight that's going to get recognized as well. Dale, I think you're here, aren't you? So, anyway, again, a word of thanks to all of you. So our first giveaway tonight, first 10 emails. Now, this is going to give the folks that are listening an advantage. So Sam, our insider coordinator, of course, Sam, we got to give him kudos. Sam is, we're just going to hook Sam up with whatever he wants. If he wants an Apple TV, a Chromecast, wants a Roku, whatever Sam wants on the show, Sam's going to get. That's going to be my gift to Sam for some of the cool support he's provided me. But Sam Cerveni, thanks for being our insider coordinator. But with that said, the first 10 emails Sam gets, starting right now, is going to get some, I don't think it's going to get to you by Christmas, but we'll get some New Year's cash. First email, insider@geeknewscentral.com, first 10 emails. So the early birds get the worm on this one, okay? Don't worry, we're going to have plenty more chances. First 10 are going to get, again, some New Year's cash. It's not going to be a big amount of cash, but maybe buy you a couple of drinks on New Year's. And you can toast it to Geek News Central. So first 10, insider@geeknewscentral.com. And Sam will take care of you. And he'll get those stacked up. Best thing to do is just send your mailing address with that email. Everything everyone does tonight in these contests, send your mailing address, okay? So we don't have to do 25 emails back and forth to get it. If you are overseas, it may take a little longer, so be patient. Okay. So that's our first giveaway. Now I want to just, we've done this every 100th show, and I want to give you some quick facts and figures. Obviously, we've been with you 1,000 evenings. 1,000 evenings I've been doing this show in this studio or in a hotel or somewhere. Now, this can't go without saying that I have to give my family major kudos. Husband and wives that are out there, or girlfriends, if you imagine giving up your man or your woman 2 nights a week for 10 years, knowing that every evening, starting about 6 p.m. to about 10:30, they are not going to be able to be scheduled for anything. the commitment my family has given to this show is bar none the biggest thanks I have doing this show. And the Monday and Thursday night routine revolves purely around this show. So, of course, big kudos to my wife and kids, and, basically not having Dad in the evenings helping with homework and all that stuff that goes on Monday and Thursday nights. So, again, huge, I guess, from me to her and the family, round of applause. And I had mentioned it at dinner tonight again, as I always do, my appreciation for them putting up with, the show. There's probably about 4,500 hours producing and publishing this show. That's probably a bare minimum over the past 10 years. There's probably 1,500 hours or more of content, 62 and a half days of listening. Can you imagine if you came in here in double digits and you've been listening to me talk for 62 days? I'm sorry. All right, I really am. I'm sorry to put it in that vein, but I don't know if I could listen to myself talk to myself for 62 and a half days. So that's just, totally crazy. Now, here's something that's pretty incredible, too. Over 27,000 of you have, and this is just the numbers I can track, over 27,000 of you have become GoDaddy customers because of this show. What's even more incredible, over 85% of you have renewed your shows. Renewed your accounts. This show's performance, the GoDaddy performance, is based on new user accounts, not renewals. So every month, I have to bring new customers to GoDaddy as part of the sponsorship of this support. And basically, you guys supporting the show. So when you renew, I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong, but they don't track that. Not a one. All I see is new customer accounts, but over 27,000 become GoDaddy customers, with over 85% of you renewing your accounts year after year. So this next part, my mom has told me, don't ever talk about money. And Mom, you're probably cringing at this point. And I know Mom's listening, and thanks, Mom, for your support of this show as well. Always been a diehard fan too. It's possible, and this show over the past 10 years has earned over 7 figures. Well, let's say 7 figures, not 8. And so that's total sponsorship money earned over 10 years. Now, that may not seem, okay, so you think 10 years, okay, is that a lot? Is that a little? I'm just going to say there's been some years that have been better than others. Okay, it's been up and down. And I think it's important for the podcasters that are listening that it is possible to build a show that will bring you enough income to essentially live. But you have to have it's hard work. I've invested heavily in the show. You look at the studio, my God, the insane amount of money I've spent this year just on computers alone is enough to, that was a budget impactor in a big way. But it is possible to build a show that is sustainable, but it's hard work. Again, so many shows fail after just so many episodes. Very few shows make it to year 2. They start out and they have great intentions, and then they just quit. And they think it's going to be easy, and believe me, it's not. I've had to claw, scratch, and fight and battle and do everything I could to make this show grow. And I've always invested in this show. Every year I invest in the show financially. I put more money back into this show than most people will earn in a lifetime of podcasting. So it's on promotion, on bloggers, the paying the bloggers and everything that else goes along with it. It is possible. I was early. I have admit I was early, and that definitely helped. But it's no guarantee. I've had setbacks in this show where the audiences have, dropped, and fluctuations from month to month. 20, 25,000 listeners would not be unusual. Most people would panic over that. But being in this space for 10 years, audiences come and go, but the Ohana, the main core audience, will build gradually over time, and you all have. And I'm very humbled. I'm just a country boy. You guys know my history? I'm just a country boy. I grew up on a dirt road. My father was a contractor, worked like a dog. My mom had to work a second time sometime to bring enough money in to bring groceries home. And we were not poor, but we were not rich. And and we worked like dogs. And one thing I learned from the very beginning, nothing comes free or easy to anyone. And I spent 24 years in the Navy, and man, that had its own challenges. I ended up retiring, doing very, very well, and retiring on the enlisted food chain pretty high up. But you have no idea the story it took to get there. There was a lot of lean years in between there. And wouldn't change a thing. And I know I have Navy buddies that listen to this show tonight, and you guys know that story. And but anyway, it's been a long haul. But the most satisfaction I have is probably over 150 million downloads of this show over 10 years. That's the number that I kind of did and again, it was a quick math. Plus or minus 10,000. Plus or minus 10 million is probably the accurate number. Special media events like CES, NAB help build relationships with vendors. I probably have done over 1,000 video interviews at events like that. And it's not easy. I still make mistakes. I still trip over myself. But, for those of you that have been here this time, you guys have heard it all. You've seen all this. I don't have to tell you this. But for those of you that are listening to this 1,000th show, let me just go over just the timeline of where the show came from. All this would not have been possible if I had not gotten hurt in a swimming pool accident. In June of 2004, I spent 13 days in a hospital in Bahrain. And if you want to know where that's at, that's in Oman in the Middle East. I got hurt very badly. I flew I took a first-class flight all the way from Bahrain to Hawaii, $14,000 airline ticket on the taxpayer dollars to get home because I had to be on my back all the way home. And I had a burst L1 compression fracture, and I was worried about my future in the United States Navy. At the time, I was still active duty. And a hurt, broke sailor on sea duty got a number on them. That number is he still going to be able to do his job, or do we put him to pasture? And that's what they do. They will medically discharge someone if they are not producing. And I got home in mid-June of 2004. About a month later, after 6 weeks of recovery, maybe early August, I got on an airplane, and I went to Waco, Texas to babysit airplanes, be a contract enforcer. I was the guy that was down there protecting your taxpayer dollars. I was making sure the contractor wasn't spending money that they shouldn't, and I was quite the, I guess for a better word, ASS. At the same time, I was wearing a clamshell because of my broken back, and it was hot in Waco, and I spent a lot of time in my hotel room on my computer looking for things to do, and I found Dave Weiner and Adam Curry, morning coffee notes, talking about this thing called podcasting. It was like someone had lit a fire under my ass, and it was, and excuse the French, I could not get started fast enough. I was already a tech blogger, and not a great one. Yeah, I write twice as worse as I speak, if that makes any sense. And I went and bought a Logitech headset from Walmart across the street and did my first 2 or 3 shows with it. And I was amazed that we went from nothing to this incredible audience in like that quick. and things just went absolutely insane. December 2004, I got a book deal with Wiley Publishing. I wrote the first book on podcasting, Podcasting to Do-It-Yourself Guide. And that was released in May of 2005. But that book announcement that I made, 50% of my audience flipped me the bird and left. They thought I was too big for my britches. I had sold out. And that was the first moment I realized, had to be a little bit humble. You don't want to brag. And I probably upset some people tonight. You don't want to brag. You don't want to boast. You want to respect your audience. I learned some lessons from that show, and I've tried through the years to follow my own advice. And I broke one golden rule tonight. But I thought it was important at the 10-year mark of this show to tell someone what is possible in a podcast. July, GoDaddy came in and sponsored the show. You want to know how much they paid per episode at the beginning? I think I could tell this at this point. A month. They paid $300 a month. The first 3 months. And then I went back and they made a mistake of telling me how many customers I'd gained them, and we renegotiated that number. And from there, things progressed very, very well. In August, GoToMeeting came in, sponsored the show. They were with us for 5 or 6, maybe 7 years straight, too. And then I started to figure out there was a business in podcasting. I figured I had a knack at doing advertising deals, and I needed a business, and I needed a team to put these thoughts into action. And on this very show, I made the call. I need a programmer. I need a business dev guy. I need a graphics guy. I need a lawyer. And from that, 9 people showed up to a meeting. Some of you might have been on that meeting. 4 of you hung up. Actually, 5 of you hung up. And the remaining 4 launched Raw Voice. And that company has done incredible things. Allowed podcasters to podcast. Today we have the #1 podcasting plugin called PowerPress. And we're getting ready to release PowerPress 6. And it is beautiful. We have literally put large sums of cash in podcasters' pockets through advertising deals. Why? Because this show was sponsored in the early days and allowed me to have the capital to do some of those things. I wouldn't have been able to build a business and go on travel and without having a sponsor. It wouldn't have happened. My wife would have shut me down. Started the podcast awards. Why? I don't know. Sitting around one night and said, man, we need an awards ceremony. Launch that. Of course, now that's sold to New Media Expo. We launched PCN as our first network. That's now a blog, Podcaster News. That was crazy. In 2006, we went to January 2006. Andy McCaskey and I traipsed around the Consumer Electronics Show. And then June 30th of 2006, we launched Blueberry. And I did that at Gnomedex. On the stage at Gnomedex with a 3-minute presentation. Angelo got the site up 3 to 4 minutes before I went on the air and showed it. Not on the air, but showed it to the audience. And then tragedy hit on August of 2006 on our 200 show. My dad died. And I said many, many times that was a tipping point for me and for my wife and my mom. Things really changed. And you guys were here for that. And somewhere I thought there was an audio recording of that. I cannot find that. All I can find is a blog post that I put out. But shortly after, in August 2007, I retired from the Navy and started a new chapter in my life. And around show 500, we started doing video. Why? I'm insane. But I believe it's made me a better podcaster. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe some of you that were around before video would say otherwise. But from there, it's just been a crazy ride. And I really don't need to go really any farther back. We've been in this, doing a show twice a week. I have taken more days off this year And, if you think about it, 10 years, I think I deserve a day off once in a while. I hope you guys will forgive me when I do. You have to. And I've never taken that many days off. This year was about the most. And I don't want to take that many off next year as we head into year 11. But that is just a fact. But what we're going to do now is we're going to have a second giveaway. This is going to be a random drawing. And we're going to give one away. We're going to give away a Google TV. I have a brand new Google TV. You can't get them no more. I've got a brand new Google TV in a box. I had like 3 or 4 of them. We've gave away a couple before. We'll get rid of this last one. You'll have to do all the updates on it. But send an email to insider@geeknewscentral.com. Put on it Google TV as a subject line. Subject line Google TV, insider@geeknewscentral.com. And random drawing, most memorable, and put on there most memorable moment of the show. We'll do a random on the next show. We'll give the person that is in the stack. We'll do that. We'll give them a Google TV. But what I want to do tonight is probably one of the most important things. We've got a couple of people I want to recognize, and there's really too many to recognize. I'm going to be. Oh my God, I'm really going to be long. There's too many people to recognize in this show. But I want to induct today 2 people into the Warriors Council. You guys know that we set up these tiers, right? And I still got the GoDaddy sponsor thing up. Let me take that down. So we set up these tiers, and the way we've done this is, and let me flip the screen here. That was dumb. We have anyone that gives a donation, of course, is always part of the Ohana. Warriors are at $60 a year. Kahunas are at $125. Big Kahunas are at $250. Otley is $500 per year. Royal Council is when someone gives $1,000 per year, but the Warriors Council is a $1,000 lifetime contribution. And someday we'll get to the point where we'll have a King's Court. But tonight we're going to do 2 Warrior Council inductions, and I've got something cool for 2 of you. And I know there's more that deserve probably to be part of this, but I'm going to start off by giving away, and let me make sure I got the right screen here. Dale, Sam Garcia, are you watching? Are you listening? This, obviously, is a Hawaiian Polynesian club that, if used on someone, would do some major damage. It's got shark's teeth in it, and they are sharp, so when I send this to you, I'm going to ask you to be very careful. Please do not use this on anyone, because it will jack somebody up. But a warrior needs a club, and you're part of the Warrior Council now, both Sam Garcia and Dale Taylor. Dale, you've contributed to the show for years. Thank you. I know it's more than $1,000 that you've given to the show. So thank you for being a long-time insider and contributing to the support of the show. Sam, you've sent me all kinds of stuff through the years. You sent me graphics. You've helped out. And I definitely appreciate that. And that's why I'm going to give you one of these too. Now, you guys have an option. On this, I can send it to you blank. And I almost want to do it that way, because I want you to have something nice that you don't have to have a bunch of writing inscription on it that reminds you. I think you'll see it on your, wherever you decide to hang this, and it is designed to be hanged. Wherever you hang this, you will just be reminded of the show when you see it. Now, we could engrave it. I'll leave that up to you guys if you want me to put something on it. We can get it laser engraved and it'll etched and it'll look nice. But at this point, I kind of thought I'd give you guys the choice. And I think I would prefer you used to get it like this and have it as a memento, and it's something that's not going to, you're going to want to keep this a long time. You're not going to want to have, when I'm, let's be honest, when I'm dead and gone and you want to give this to your kids, they don't want to know who Geek News Central is, all right? So this is going to be something that you can tell it's about some crazy guy in Hawaii that did a podcast that you listened to for years. So I've got 2 of these. Oh, yeah. Someone said, I hope your wife's in the king's court. Yeah, she is the king of the house. But anyway, both Dale and Sam, congratulations and thank you for your ongoing support of the show. There's many others that have been influential. People that have sent emails throughout the years, provide me input to the show. Audio intros provided, video intros. Man, this video intro is fantastic. We've been running for a couple of years now. Artwork, you name it. And I'm just going to be straight up. I'm going to just thank you. And it's just so many years and so many supporters. From the bottom of my heart, I do appreciate it. I really, really do. And what I want to do in this third giveaway today is this is going to be for insiders only. If you're an insider, and no matter if you've contributed once to the show or you're contributing every month, doesn't matter. If you provide something tangible to the show like artwork, whether it be a video, whatever you may have submitted, don't worry. It's going to be the Honor Society. Just put on the subject line Insider, email insider@geeknewscentral.com, and you get your choice. We're going to pick one. You get a pick of a Roku, Chromecast, or Apple TV. One of the three. And we're going to give one of those away. Again, insider@geeknewscentral.com. And again, this is for insiders only. Honor period here, where basically if you're part of that group, feel free to join the third giveaway. And again, put on their insider on the subject line. Okay. Got some other stuff we're going to give away to the audience at large. And don't get me wrong, everyone is part of the Ohana here and an important part of this show, and we definitely appreciate all of you. I'm going to kind of wrap up at this point just the show 1000 stuff. I want to get into the tech. I didn't want to spend the whole show on this, but I don't know how many podcasters have made 1,000 episodes over 10 years. I think there's a few that have made 10 years. I don't think there's very many that's made 1,000. Leo Laporte, he was a podcaster really before there was podcasting. So he's in that category. Don and Drew, I think, are probably one that's been here for 10 years. I don't know if they've done 1,000 episodes or not. There's been some shows that have done 1,000 episodes, but they haven't been here for 10 years. So of the, I probably was one of the first 50 podcasters in the podcasting space. Adam Curry, of course, is in this group. Dave Weiner still does some shows. So it's been one incredible ride, and I'm looking forward to the next go. Are we going to make it to 20 years? Ooh. Maybe. I don't know. I got kids to put through college yet. so I have to keep working and keep the show moving forward and keep feeding the family and keep the lights on and everything else that goes on. I would expect by 2019, though, I have some decisions to make around that time frame. We'll talk about it when we get to that time frame. The show, I don't think, will change. There's a potential of the show location changing and the situation here changing a little bit. But that is a few years down the road, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And to all of you that have tuned in for this part of the show, I want to say thank you for being here. And if you're considering becoming a podcast about what you're passionate about. And understand it's hard work, and it's going to take a long time to get where you need to get. And put the time in. There's no fast road to success. You got to put the time in, do the grind to make it happen, just like any job, anything that you work on. And believe me, I'm not perfect. No, not by anybody's standard, but I'm consistent, if nothing else. And I hope the audience and I hope all of you appreciate it. But 1,000 episodes, let's get into the tech. It's been fun. My God. It's been a crazy 10 years, 1,000 episodes. You'd have told me that before I told you were insane. I really would have. I really, really would have. Okay. Gosh, we're gonna go way long. Story of our life, right? Oh man, I've already spent 40. I thought that was gonna take like 20 minutes. Yeah, right. 45 minutes. My God. All right. We don't have to do this like big thing. We just do big hundreds now, right? And little small mentions of next. We got October for 11 year. We don't have to do big shows. We hit the big numbers, right? It's all downhill from here. All right, I'm readjusted here. Let me load this next page. Well, today there was a robot that was a paying passenger on a airline. Why? I don't know. Why didn't they put it in luggage? Maybe they were too worried about it. But in the UK, I guess it was a Lufthansa flight to Germany. They had an android or a robot as a paid passenger. Athena was accompanied by two scientists this robot is a full humanoid robot with a head, arms, and legs. Although they rolled it into the airport on a wheelchair, so they must have detached the legs. But I guess if you wanted to make sure something gets there safe and not being dropped by the baggage handlers, it definitely went on a flight. So what they were doing with it was going to an event. But I know people that have expensive cellos and that type of stuff will often buy an extra seat for their music devices. This is the first time that, of course, according to The Verge, a robot was a paying airline passenger. Let's talk again a little bit about Sony. Boy, oh boy, the revelations just keep hammering. These, they are so screwed over there. It's not even funny. But it appears that the MPAA met with a senior Comcast engineer to discuss the mechanics of wiping infringing sites off the web, along with a whole bunch of other companies, including Sony, at a secret meeting. And they have all kinds of, for better words, conspiracies and memorandums and non-disclosure agreements that are basically saying, let's go ahead and take down sites and make sure through the DMCA that we can stop torrent sites and everything else that we think are infringing and get them removed and purged from the internet. And they have this like multi-year plan. And we talked a little bit about this on the last show, but more stuff keeps coming out. But they even had a secret site that they met at. And Google is enemy number one on all their documents. They call it a confab. On October 8th, Hollywood lawyers met for a secret site blocking confab. It's crazy. A leaked agenda for the meeting shows a crash course in the basic technical issues of site blocking, from IP and URL-based tactics to the larger political landscape. One session offered lessons from the field, asking, have there been issues in site blocking to date that should inform our thinking? They were asking this of a Comcast person. The group also circulated an earlier technical analysis which suggests a hybrid model of combining IP-based and URL-based models. If U.S. law ever offers a way to wipe copyright infringing sites off the web, the MPAA will know exactly how to do it. So you got the MPAA trying to wipe stuff off the internet, and then you have companies that are not willing to disclose their employee privacy policy. One thing I implemented at Raw Voice was we were very sensitive about podcaster statistics numbers. And even to this day, there's only 3 people that have active access to stat systems. Now, Barry, our finance and lawyer, he gets to see the billing cycle, what actually goes and what they're going to be paid and so forth. But there's only 3 of us have active access to individual show stats, and we have a very strict policy of what can be shared with whom and how. And it's very important for our business to maintain the privacy rights of our podcast clients. Unlike from what I have heard from other podcasting companies, is sometimes have a tendency to blab about a show's numbers, which is not cool. So BuzzFeed reached out to 29 major technology companies, including social network, fitness trackers, and dating, payment, messaging, music, mapping, and music apps with 10 specific questions about their internal privacy policies with regards to user data. In other words, what does their employees have access to from within the company of our data? Out of the 29 companies, only 13 responded. Of the 13 that responded, 3 companies didn't offer comment. Responses from the other 10 manifested a wide range of views. Some took the inquiry seriously, others offered boilerplate responses, and a significant percentage of the companies chose to remain silent. All told, the collective response offered a complex and in many cases unsettling survey of the current data landscape. I'm not going to read the questions, but it was similar to like, does the CEO and senior executives have access? How does the company monitor employee access? Does the company share or sell user data? Does the company have a plan for transfer of user data if the company changes hands? Those types of questions. The ones that were unresponsive and willing to say anything was Splitwise, MyFitnessPal, Skype, Tinder, GroupMe, Hinge, WhatsApp, Pandora, Kik, K-I-K, Viper, OkCupid, Line, Radio, RDIO, Woz, and Foursquare did not respond to multiple emails from BuzzFeed. So here you have Line, Tinder. You guys know what Tinder is being used for, right? GroupMe, Skype. Did not respond. So here you have individuals that are sharing data ranging from location and movement logs, financial information, private communications, and sexual orientation / dating history. There were some that came out with no comments. Get, Sleep Cycle, Scruff, and Spotify said, no comment. We're not going to tell you anything. We've talked with our lawyers, and we're not going to share that. Some came out with blanket statements. Jawbone came out with one. We take security and protection of users' data very seriously with strict processes in place covering the handling of all user data internally. More information on privacy bias can be found, blah, blah, blah. Canned messages. Fitbit. Jawbone's chief competitor responded with a link to the company's privacy page, as well as an article featuring Senator Chuck Schumer's praising Fitbit's privacy standards. The company also included a statement from James Park, CEO and co-founder of Fitbit, saying, this is one that'll get you. As a market leader in connected health and fitness, we have always been committed to protecting consumer privacy and keeping data safe. We spent the last several months updating our privacy policy to clarify our practices and provide transparency for our customers. While our policy was updated, our practices have not changed. It has always been our policy not to sell user data and never sold personal data, and we do not share personal data unless a user specifically directs us to do so. Okay, does that mean you click one of those little buttons and say yes, and you didn't read the 82 pages of fine print? Or under the limited exceptions described in a privacy policy. I wonder what those limited exceptions are. So the companies that did respond, the full responders included HipChat and Lyft, responded directly to all 10 questions. A HipChat support representative provided a detailed answer to each of BuzzFeed questions. However, these answers were actually from the perspective of a user accessing his or her own data, not that on the part of the HipChat or its owner. That's pretty naughty. Uber's biggest rival, Lyft, responded extensively to each BuzzFeed News question, noting Lyft also has a long-standing internal policy which prohibits employees or contractors from accessing any user personal information except to the extent such use is necessary to do their jobs. In addition to this policy, all access and updates to users and ride data has been and will be continued to be attributed to an authorized user, recorded and available for audit. I like that. I know GoDaddy does that with all their employees. They touch your record. You give them permission to check your record. It's audited. They can see the audit trail who's been in there. So, do you care about your privacy? It's going on in these companies. It's just like an IRS worker loading your Social Security up and looking at your account, right? That's never happened, right? It's like an FBI agent pulling a criminal report on someone. That's never happened, right? There's never been a prosecution of a nonprofit because of their political orientation that was filled out in an application, right? And here you've got those are government agencies. These are private companies and the data they have behind their firewalls is extensive. So looking at these, do you have a privacy policy regarding employee access to user location, financial, and other account data? Yes, we do. How many and which types of employees currently have access to user account data? Yes, we have all those answers. This is stuff that if my little itty-bitty company has policies on, why don't big companies like Skype, Tinder, GroupMe, Hinge, WhatsApp, Pandora, Viper, OkCupid, Line, Radio, Woz, why don't they have this kind of a policy? Because they don't care. It means their employees are getting access to a lot of our data. Is that data being sold? Most of these companies didn't respond to that question. So, make you think a little bit, okay? And you have to start asking these companies, what are you doing with my data? We have a right as users of these services to ask those types of hard questions. We need to do that. So please, please, please do. Oh, Dale said, did the robot get a drink? I hope he did. I would think we'd get a free drink, Dale. Oh, man. I bet the guy sitting beside him got the robot's peanuts, though. They weren't macadamia nuts, right? You guys have heard about that thing, right? That blow up about that Korean air executive that got upset because their macadamia nuts wasn't served on a plate, was served in the little bag. I'll talk about a prima donna. My God. All right, Verizon. Let's talk about Verizon a little bit. Verizon's offering an encrypted calling with a backdoor at no additional charge. Oh, man. It's called Cellcrypt. I'm just going to say, you hear this word Cellcrypt, run. Run. Do not use this. All right. When you read this background in this, you're going to be like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. So anyway, don't be using this app. Okay, time for another giveaway. So the fourth giveaway is a Chromecast. Send me an email. Tell me what you thought about the dialogue tonight at the beginning of the show, about the 1000 show, and your impressions, thoughts. Did you learn nothing new? Insights. Love to hear from you. Just, a sentence or two. So fourth giveaway, insider at geeknewscentral.com. This is open to all listeners of the show, and this is for a Chromecast. So we hope that you'll get one of those. We got 2 more, so don't go anywhere, okay? And I'm only on the 4th article. Oh, boy. Hey, NASA and SpaceX is targeting December 19th for the next space station launch. So it's slated for 1:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the mission is dubbed CRS-5. So hopefully we don't have any more booms on the pad. We need to get some supplies up to the ISS. Pretty good article over on Universe Today talking about how NASA filmed humans leaving the moon 42 years ago. There's a YouTube video on there that's 6 minutes long that I had never seen before, and it talks about the process, how they got the camera to do that. Can you believe that the camera's actually, of course, those of you that are conspiracy theorists will think otherwise, but they actually had a guy that was on the ground that was like 3 seconds before the launch. He had a sequence of stuff he had to do to get the shot. So it's a pretty good read. I'll have a link up in the show notes for you, of course. Also, there's a great article about this kid who mom got divorced. She got hooked up with this, as he entitles the new stepfather, scumbag that was wanted by the police. They went out to the outback and lived in some remote location, and the only thing he had back in the day, and this was what year was it that he was sent? 1990. He was basically gone for 17 years, and during that time, out in the outback, his parents were very strict on what they gave him access to. He only had a 486 from 1990 to 2007. Now think about that. For those of you who don't know what a 486 was, That is a pretty old operating system. It's amazing the computer worked for 17 years, but he built some cool tools for DOS. And the story write-up, this kid basically went to the library and got some. They let him. His parents let him pick out a couple of books that were basically DOS programming books. He used QBasic and wrote some code, and he wrote some games, a 3D imager, and some stuff all in the 640K memory. And he had 5.25-inch floppies. This poor guy, and he came back to Civilization in 2007. So this was out of the loop for a long time, and was shocked what had transpired in space. This is a great Imager article. Those of you that are geeks are going to love this and what this kid was able to accomplish and what he went through. I feel sorry for him, man. 17 years on a 486. Oh my goodness. So, 1999 to 2006. So he was isolated for 7 years. With the 486. And he basically built his own kind of operating system to go along with it. So it's kind of cool. Hey, there's a good article on CNET talking about from spinning disc to streaming series, see how TV tech evolved. And this is a good prepper for any of you that want to just get a little background on how TV got to where it is and where it's going. About 8 minutes worth of video. I'll have that up for you to check out. Some 100,000 or more WordPress sites are infected by a mysterious malware product, and it's all associated with a plugin that was from a vulnerability in a paid plugin called Slider Revolution. I have no idea what this plugin does, but if you are a WordPress user and you have not updated the Slider Revolution plugin, you may be hacked. And it's a pretty serious one too. So I'll have a link up in the show notes for you to check that out. But if you use this plugin, Slider Revolution, it's a paid plugin. Be aware that you could have some problems. So anyway, the link will be up in the show notes for you to read on that as well. I've never used that particular plugin, so I didn't have anything to worry about. I want to talk about the Samsung SSDs that I have been using that I'm pretty happy with. I've been using the 849 Samsung series, and Samsung just came out with the 850 series. An 851 terabyte drive will set you back about $500, but these new 850 EVO SSDs are fast, and they are pretty incredible from a performance standpoint. And the prices, again, are pretty hard to beat, but the 850 series features the Samsung's new 3D V-NAND chip, which is a stacked NAND solution that delivers really high performance at a low price. So there's some timing correspondence on here and some benchmark stuff, but I've had great luck with the Samsung the 849 series, so I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on an 850 at some point. I did get a Black Friday deal. I got a Kingston solid state drive. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do with that yet. It was let me see here. It was a 240 gig. I think I paid $100, maybe $78 or something like that for it. It was under $100. They limited it to one, but anyway, that came in a couple of days ago. So anyway, if you're looking for an SSD, look at these 850 EVO drives from Samsung. According to Computer World, after the Snowden leaks, 700 million people moved to avoid basically government spying. That's a pretty low number considering everything. An international survey of internet users found that more than 39% have taken steps to protect their online privacy and security as a result of the revelations by Snowden. The survey conducted by the Center for International Governance Innovation, CIGI, found that 43% of internet users now avoid certain websites and applications, and 39% change their passwords on a regular basis. The survey reached 23,376 internet users in 24 countries and was conducted in October. The countries included Australia, Canada, China, France, Germany, Great Britain, Japan, and the United States. And there's a pretty interesting write-up here, but so it is an interesting number here, but I think that about 706 million people have changed their behavior because of this, which I still think is low. But the survey indicated 64% are concerned about government censorship of the internet, 62% are worried about the government agencies from countries other than the U.S. secretly monitoring their online activities. You can just about be guaranteed if you're bits and bytes are going over any type of international line. I can't imagine some other foreign government not sniffing. I just can't imagine it. Let's talk just a little bit more about Sony. Sony, instead of having spent money on their huge enterprise and made their IT system foolproof, Sony lawyers are now sending out cease and desist letters warning the media to stop reporting on leaked documents or else they're going to get sued. The New York Times, Gawker, Recode, and The Verge have been receiving a letter from the lawyers at Sony saying, stop. These are stolen documents. You're not authorized to put these online. If you don't take them down, we are going to sue you. Despite their effort, it seems unlikely to me that this is going to stop the press momentum on this story. And of course, we have seen all kinds of letters and some stuff that's talked bad about the president, more movies potentially being released, all kinds of nasty stuff that's going on in the Sony studios. It just shows you how Hollywood really works. But the Sony hackers are promising a Christmas gift or leaked data. They've offered to redact Sony staff members' data by basically the Sony staff members have to email them. And this is kind of interesting. If the Sony employee emails them, the email has to be entitled Merry Christmas to tell us what you want in your Christmas deal, but it claimed it will remove details from Sony staff if they ask directly. However trustworthy that claim is, they have a plan to release emails and privacy of Sony Pictures employees. It says if you don't want your privacy to be released, tell us your name and business title to take off your data. Wow, that's kind of opening up a can of worms. So I guess you can use your Sony email account and email them and say, hey, take me off. I wouldn't do it from my personal account, that's for sure. Because they'll probably reply with a payload in the email. The Sony Pictures CEO promises employees that the hack will not take us down. Well, I think there's going to be some people fired. And I would almost bet that CEO Michael Linton and co-chairman Amy Pascal are probably on the chopping block. I am going to just about believe that they are going to get canned. If not now, soon. And this doesn't happen without people getting fired. And it just on and on and on. And of course, the Sony leaked the secret meetings that set Hollywood's anti-piracy war plan public is definitely a problem now, because one of the MPAA things was saying, need to have a low profile. They said, one of the things they said, if we pretend VPNs don't exist, maybe no one will find out about them. They don't want you to know about VPNs. So it just goes, keep a low profile. Good luck on that one. Oh, man. All right, Netflix today patiently explained to FCC Commissioner Tot that CDNs, and if I mispronounce his name, it's Paithat. It almost sounds like Pad Thai. They basically responded saying that CDNs are perfectly normal, not diabolical fast lanes. And I love what the response by Netflix. And they carefully spelled out how the company's free and completely entire voluntary CDNs, like all CDNs, cache content on the inside edge of the ISP network. They said OpenConnect, and this is a technology that they use and other companies use, is not a fast lane. OpenConnect does not prioritize Netflix data. OpenConnect uses best effort internet services into and out of its content caches. When an ISP asks Netflix to localize an open content cache within its network, it does not disadvantage other internet content. To the contrary, OpenConnect helps ISPs reduce costs and better manage congestion, which results in a better internet experience for all end users. Only ISPs can speed up or slow down data that flow over their last mile. When Netflix directly interconnects with an ISP, Netflix data does not travel faster than other internet content unless an ISP is artificially constraining capacity to other data sources. So it's true. They put all the data right there at the data center for each of the ISP hubs. And, it doesn't have to traverse the intranets to get to you. It just comes over the internet from your provider. Leaked Windows 10 build unveils Cortana and an Xbox app. So if you're following what's going on with Windows 10, There's some screenshots out talking about some of the Cortana features and what's going to happen and how it's integrate with tablets and phones and so forth. And so we'll see some more of that. That'll be up in the show notes. The Pirate Bay, boy, it's still down and it may not be coming back anytime soon. A little bit of bravado today was said, and this came from Mr. like whatever he's 101000100 told Torrent Freak. Will we reboot? We don't know yet, but if and when we do, it'll be with a bang. The people behind the Pirate Bay are like one big collective mind. There are no leaders for anyone in charge. About 30 to 50 people from all over the world pitch their ideas against each other, and whatever comes out of that is what will be the fate of the Pirate Bay. They say the code sucks so bad they just can't share it, which I thought was weird. I thought the code was already released at one time, but apparently not. I'd like to have the Pirate Bay code to run my own podcasting torrent thing. But the problem with that is if you make it open, everyone's going to put up their copyright material stuff, and then you're toast. Ars Technica was taken out by a hack today as well. Their site was defaced. I think it was denial of service type of thing with a DNS hack. So that happened to them. Just goes to show you this goes on and on and on and on. Article over on Yahoo talking about a program I haven't heard before called JetClean. It's a cleaning application for Windows users. Basically cleans out your registry and so forth. It's got a pretty good review. So if anybody's used JetClean, love to hear your comments. geeknews@gmail.com. And it does a good job at speeding up your machine and cleaning out the crap. So I definitely will be checking it out and running it on some machines here as well. My solar's doing good. I'm about 20 kilowatts in the red right now as of this morning. We had some rain and cloudy over the weekend, so a little bit behind, but 20 kilowatts really is $7.20 at this point for me, so I'm still pretty happy where we're at 1 week later with the solar install, where I'm actually only owe the utility $7.20. So actually, I should have brought the spreadsheet up. But solar demand is up 16% this year worldwide. Not surprising, at least in the United States, with the tax credits expiring in 2016. Also, if you've been hearing anything about this internet tax, it's a hoax. Don't worry. The government basically put some language in the budget that basically says we're not going to push that. The Internet Tax Freedom Act has been reauthorized through October 2015. In other words, you don't have to pay any additional tax on your internet connection. Okay, as you can tell, I'm going fast through this stuff tonight to make up some time here. Engineer used a tape measure to beat a speeding ticket. Well, apparently people have been getting speeding tickets in this one town in England for years. So this retired UK engineer said, I wasn't driving fast. So he went out, and this system that they use to catch speeders uses the length of the line on the middle of the road, the little white line. He went out and measured it, and it's supposed to be a certain length, and it was 3 inches either shorter or longer. And he said, yep, that's enough. Did the math. He said this could make a 30-mile-an-hour car look like it's going 36. And he beat the ticket. But again, that speed camera had been there for 12 years, but leave it to the engineer to go out and measure it and see if it was actually calibrated right. So he got out of that in a big way. All right, Skype, you can now translate your voice between English to Spanish and Spanish to English. Other languages will come soon. If they ever get it figured out how they can do English to Japanese, I will be blown away. But right now, Skype Translator is only working English to Spanish, Spanish to English. And I don't know exactly how it works, but it sounds pretty cool. T-Mobile is going to be making a big announcement tomorrow at 10:30. Going to be talking about Uncarrier 8. It's 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, so be aware. Watch the internets for that announcement. If you're a T-Mobile customer, I'm sure you'll see something on their website. It's being rumored the Galaxy X6 is going to be released at CES 2015. I doubt it, to be honest with you. Their events are normally March of every year, so if they do announce it at CES, we'll definitely be covering it, but at this point, I don't think so. Jaguar has got a smart windshield that they are testing. It's not in production yet, but it basically prevents blind spots. And what it does, it uses cameras to put a holographic image up in the blind spots of, let's say, the post on the side of your, from where your windshield meets the area between the windshield and the front driver's door and in the back. So again, it uses a camera to create transparent pillars that basically will show someone in your blind spot. The screen generates a ghost image that shows you where to turn as well. So it's in mid-development. You probably won't see this in Jaguars for a while, but it is forthcoming. And I don't make enough to afford a Jaguar living in Hawaii, but I would sure love to have a Tesla. It's not in the cards. We would have to have a couple of very, very big years to make that happen. If about 4,000 of you became GoDaddy customers next month, we could make that happen, I think. All right, cool, large Hadron Collider to fire into doubly powerful ring. They're going after dark matter, folks. Well, CERN is getting ready to fire up the Large Hadron Collider after a couple of years of being shut down. And they're cranking this bad boy up as a result of this change and basically cooling everything down to almost, what are they going to? Almost to Kelvin. They're going down to 1.9 Kelvin. That's minus 271.25 degrees Celsius, or minus 456.25 degrees. How much does that cost to get it that cool? But they're going to be able to go from 6.5 tera electron volts, that's a TeV, T-E-V, to 13 TeV when it makes its first test shots in March. So we'll see if the world evaporates into a black hole when they do that. Be aware that 25 movies are disappearing from Netflix on New Year's Day. Beverly Hills Cop, Duck Soup, Gladiator, Rocky IV, Spaceballs, A Breakfast Club, Hotel Rwanda, Batman 1989, Backdraft, 12 Angry Men, just to name a few. So definitely check out that list. And if there's any movies you've missed or want to watch again, make sure you check that out. All right, bada bing, bada boom. Google Shopping may go deeper into e-commerce with a buy now button to challenge Amazon, but they're trying to get vendors to sign up to allow them to put that buy now button right on search results. And so far, the vendors are being pretty cool to it. They don't need another Amazon or someone else doing price wars, and it doesn't look like they're getting much traction here, but that's the rumor Google's trying to do. I would say to those vendors, if you're not going to do it, Google might do it without you. Then you would be in real trouble. Bose is supposedly wanting to launch a streaming music service. Okay. Wouldn't it be better to partner with someone, Bose? Isn't there enough streaming music services out there? I would think so. iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus are still outstripping supply. And so basically stuff is running... let me look here. What is availability? It's still quite a while. There's some that have 24-hour. Let me look here. We can't be sure when the stores will hit 100%. Oh, it's still at like 56% availability of product. So they do still have quite a backlog to get through. Also, Apple is going back to work with Samsung and building the A9 chips. These are probably going to be an update to the current versions of iPhones, but or maybe targeted at the iPhone 7. But Samsung is the builder, and they're back in bed with the company that they had this huge legal battle with. And finally, today there's two, hurt your brain science articles. One from talking about the heliosphere and the local interstellar cloud and what we're flying through as the sun and the earth and our orbits continue to move. Talking about the interstellar boundary IBX mission. This stuff will make your brain hurt a little bit. I'm not going to go into it. It'll be up there for those of you that are science geeks. And finally, also, the University of Michigan. I'm not a big fan. Don't go blue, go green, being Michigan State. But anyway, University of Michigan have been able to solve a 45-year physics mystery, basically showing a path to quantum transistors. This is big. Quantum transistors, this is, wow, this is huge. But anyway, good article about that. And quantum physics, man, it's another 10 years. That's what it's going to be all about, I'm telling you. Okay, so I rushed, and we're only 10 minutes behind on schedule right now. I got through like 45 minutes worth of stuff and fast. You open a bottle of wine to celebrate tonight? Justin, cool. I do have to mention that Saturday, I got a delivery. Whoever is bestowing upon me the Macallan 12 year every year, thank you. Because the Macallan 12 came to the house. I know what state it's coming from, which is kind of unusual because I don't know a lot of listeners in that state. But whoever sends me the Macallan 12, thank you for it. How about it? I don't want to be greedy, but I'd love an 18 next year. Or don't send me 2 and then send me 1. You know what I mean. But anyway, whoever sent me the Macallan 12, thank you. I didn't get the last bottle drank yet. So that tells you how much alcohol content I'm down. It's, but I'm going to have to hurry up and open this next bottle. So the Macallan 12, thank you so much for that. My mystery gift giver. Okay, I'm supposed to give away 2 things here. Actually, I was supposed to give one away before. I'm going to give away another Chromecast. And in this one here, there's really no requirement. I'm just going to give away a Chromecast. So this is the 5th giveaway. Put that in the subject line. 5th giveaway. 5th giveaway. Insider at geeknewscentral.com. Subject line, 5th giveaway. Random drawing. And then we're going to give away a Chromecast. And we got one more thing. We'll do that at the very, very end of the show. All right? Okay, so let me go ahead and back up here. Let's look at the emails that have come in. And I do want to thank Kirk from Yardville, New Jersey. Thanks for becoming a warrior. Thanks for starting contributing to the show. I do appreciate it. He says, hey, Todd, I want to congratulate you on your 1,000th show. And congratulations on 10 years with GNC. I've been watching your podcast for over a year. So my Beyond Pod app for Android, and I must say that your show is the very first podcast oh, you got the Beyond Pod app. Dude. We need to talk more. Thank you so much. And I've been telling everyone, go get your app. Go to my subscribe page, Kirk. Beyond Pod's listed on the... this is cool. Wait a minute. I've been watching one year. Oh, on my Beyond Pod. Okay, you're not the creator of Beyond Pod. All right, sorry. I got all excited there. And I must say that your show is the very first podcast I turned it to. All the best in future. In a way, you are an inspiration to me to start a podcast as well. Just be passionate, okay, Kirk, for sure. I hope that I am just as successful as you are. I am too. I hope you are as well. I also want to let you know I just subscribed as a warrior level, and supporting your show is well worth it. All the best, Kirk. Thanks so much. I do appreciate it. Got an email from JR. He says, in the effort of truth and fairness, Uber did respond to my Twitter immediately on the situation, basically talking about there was the situation. Okay, for those of you in Australia, it's so sad to hear what happened down there. But during this crisis in Australia, apparently Uber's cars went into like this priority pricing, and people were pissed. And they said it was automated. Uber apologized. But boy, another strike, Uber. Another strike. I'm going to be a Lyft customer from here on out. All right, I did have a voicemail come in, and where did it go? Where's the player? The player's dash. Now, I haven't had to play very many of these in recent times, so let me go ahead and, where did it go? Crap. All right, it's very easy. All I got to do is download it again and hit play. And here's the direct download link. This came in on SpeakPipe. And okay, there's the file. So we'll see if this works. It was scratchy before. Just because I haven't used this so long, I didn't have this thing hooked up right. So let's cross our fingers here.
Todd, it's Andrew here from Belfast in Northern Ireland. Todd, congratulations on 1,000 shows and over 10 years of podcasting. When I started listening, the show was just into double figures, and I was listening on a Sony Clio TH55 PDA.
Wow.
It's incredible to think how far the technology has come in those 10 years. So congratulations again, and here's to another 1,000 shows.
Hey,
keep up the good work.
Hey, thank you so much, and thanks for the voice. That's like the first voice comment we've had for the show in like a year. So SpeakPipe, there's a link on the website where you can go leave a voice comment if you want to. So definitely thank you for that, Andrew. Let's see here. Got an email from Andy. He said, "Hey Todd, congrats to you all from all of us at TPN, Andy, SDRnews.com." Got an email from Dr. Bill Bailey with a congratulation as well. And so I want to thank everyone. Congrats, Todd. It'll be 10 years since I started next year, but you've been doing it consistently all 10 years, and I had a hiatus in my run. Way to go. Your show inspired me to get started. Well, I'm glad, Dr. Bill, that you did, and you got a great show. Let's see here. What else? Did I talk about this firehouse light bulb on the last show that's been burning for 100 years? I think I did. So not a lot of emails come in, but we're going to have some emails come in now for the prizes and stuff. Insider at geeknewscentral.com. We've given away 5 things here, and this is going to take us down really to almost the end of the show. And we're going to give away a 6th item. And this is for an Apple TV. All you have to do is, this is a different one, write me a review on iTunes. All right? Go to iTunes. If you're an iOS user, write me a review on iTunes. If you're an Android user, just send me an email that says Android on it, and maybe a screenshot of the app that you use with a Geek News Central being shown. Okay, so for the Android users, send me a screenshot that you're using an app and you're subscribed to the show. And for the Apple users, write a review for Geek News Central on iTunes, and to send me basically, you don't have to. You can blot out your comments. You can just gray that out if you want, but send me the screenshot of that, and we'll put you in the drawing for an Apple TV as part of our 6th giveaway. So 6 things tonight. We've given away cash. We have given away a Google TV. We have given away a choice of a Roku Chromecast or Apple TV to an insider. We've given away 2 Chromecasts and an Apple TV, with really only one of those options being the most difficult. And if you hung to the end, and if you've done a review on iTunes already in the past, you already qualify. So just tell me you did before. Again, honor system on that. But again, I want to thank my family sacrifice for 1,000 evenings of doing this show. Hundreds of weekends, conventions, CES, retreats, you name it. And them really, putting up with my crap doing the show. And I do appreciate it. And thanks to all of you for being here for really episode 1,000. After this, it's a long time away from another big number. Boy, I don't know. Are we going to make 2,000? Anyone want to? What would be the odds that they would put on Vegas for that to hit 2,000 episodes? That's just I don't even want to really kind of think about that right now. We'll take what we've got at this point and continue to move forward. We will have another show this week on Thursday, episode 1001. How do you top this? And then we'll be back with you next Monday for episode 1002. There will be no show on Christmas. There will be a new media show this Saturday. I think we're going to have Angelo Vendato and Brian Yunke on from Raw Voice. Rob is on vacation. We're going to be talking about PowerPress 6 and all the new features. It will be out this week. Absolutely guaranteed. It's been a long time coming, and it will be out this week. Of course, I said that last week too, but then after this, it's going to get sketchy because I leave for Vegas on December 31st. I fly the red eye out of Honolulu to get into Vegas January 1st. So the CES stuff is really ramping up, and we're fast. I'm booking appointments now to do the show. I'm really excited about what we're going to do at CES this year, and a little bit different format, not as rushed on guest, and I'm excited to have a good 10th anniversary event at in Vegas as well. So everyone, thanks for being here, being part of the Ohana. Most importantly, thank you so much for putting up with me for 1,000 episodes, 10 plus years of this show. We'll see everyone next time, and as I always do, everyone take care and aloha. All right, YouTube, thanks. Maybe my grandkid. I don't have no babies yet, no grandkids. So I don't know how that's going to happen. Okay. All right, everybody on YouTube, thanks for being here. And thanks for all the viewers. And I know you weren't in the chat room, but thanks. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.